Hello, hello, hello. It's your boys, the DM podcast. And we are going to talk about what has happened this past week in basketball, which is basically the Olympics. It's not much has happened if you're like a Team Canada fan because you didn't make it. If you're a Team USA fan, you're very happy. You're excited. If you're a France team, you should feel kind of encouraged. Serbia, the same way. Germany, somewhat of a disappointment for their standards. And then, of course, we're going to do our redrafts. We're doing the redraft of the 2000 draft, which we're going to talk about before because, like, wasn't the greatest draft at all. One of the hardest to do. And the 1999 draft, we're also going to do as well. But before we continue, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, my co-host, YS, how's everything going?
You already know. Every day above ground.
Of course, as long as we're above ground, we can never hate or be pissed off at that. The Olympics is done. Like I said, the Olympics are done. Team USA, both men and women, won. So shout out to both men and women. I didn't think that the women's game was going to be as close as it was, but it was pretty close. Even like to the point that her name is Gabby Williams. She hit a 2-point shot at the end of the game, and that shot went in. If she somehow like saw where she was, it would have been a 3-point shot. If she had gotten it, would have tied game, gone to overtime. The women's basketball, normally the Team USA is far ahead than the rest of the world when it comes to women's basketball. So I was actually quite shocked to see how close that game ended up being. Because once again, it's normally not that close. But shout out to France, both side of things.
Yeah, yeah.
Men going into the finals and the women goes to the finals. It's clear as day that that home field advantage works.
I was gonna say. I was gonna say.
The crowd was with them the whole time.
Shout
So
out to Wemby. Shout out to Wemby. Rookie of the year, accolade, and a silver medal. You're 20. It's okay.
once again, he is going to. I think we both agree Wemby is going to be a good player. Um,
Kind of like what LeBron did his first year. Rookie of the year, got a medal. You know what I mean?
yeah, I'm trying to think of. Once again, we shouldn't even put ceilings on guys, but like what with Wemby,
Um,
he defensively he's going to be he's a guy. Defensively,
he is him. Defensive.
yeah.
He's him.
The one when RJ stole the ball and then he was about to go for a fast break and Wemby got the ball and like Wemby didn't move. To me, Wemby just went like this and just grabbed it. And like RJ had a good like lane, like he was going and he was just the way Wemby just barely moved and just still grabbed it. I'm like, oh, this guy is, you know, he's a long guy. Like he's a
Like
real alien.
Gadget, his arms just stretch. Yeah, I'm telling you.
So it's gonna be really hard. If you're like in a fast break, make sure his hands are not near your hands because he's gonna steal the ball, or he's gonna disrupt you. That's one thing he's gonna do. So shout out to but let's go to a Team Canada. Team Canada loses to France. Once again, France put up a fight. They beat Germany. A lot of people didn't expect them to beat Germany. I did not expect them to beat Germany because Germany was so good in the FIBA games like last year. So no one really expected them to beat Germany, but they also beat Germany. So once again, shouts out to France. But they beat Canada. We are Canadian. So we're
Shut
going to talk Team Canada. For many, this is a disappointment, right?
up.
Where they're disappointed because the USA team has 12 NBA players. Team Canada had 10, which was the second most. Now, guys who played in the NBA, they said all 12 guys played, but Elgin played a little bit, but you'll say 11 guys really played minutes,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
including Birch, right? So 11 guys you had in Team Canada play minutes in the NBA, especially like last season. So you expected more from them. There's many reasons why this team didn't do well. Um, and the first reason I'll chat about, and one thing we both talked about, was their size. Team Canada's just not big enough. I messaged you during the game, and it was clear. Um, what's his name? Oh my God, Yusabale from when he used to play in Boston, who actually had a pretty good game against the U.S. as well, and Lecrae, whatever. Those two mans, I call him freaking Montrezl Harrell, French Montrezl Harrell. Those two mans just bodied Team Canada overall, just bodied them from beginning to end. Canada cannot take their size. I would have loved if they played. I know this would sound, not conventional, but sometimes you have to match size for size,
Yes,
especially if your
I
guards
agree.
aren't doing well.
I agree with that statement. I definitely agree. You got to do that sometimes because if nothing else is working,
No one was really doing much. Like Dylan Burke wasn't doing much offensively. RJ was okay, but I think at one point in the game they really didn't focus on RJ. But I would have really, in my opinion, had a lineup of Shea, RJ, Dort, and I would have gone Birch and Dwight Powell, or I would have gone Birch
which is a
and
banger,
Kelly Olynyk.
which is a banger. So he'll match physicality, right?
That's why I would have kept Birch on because you have the physicality. He would have fought for loose ball. So would Dwight Powell. Because then you're letting Shea. Now there could be some double teams, and the thing with those guys in France that Team Canada couldn't do, the big men could finish at the rim. You
And
know,
you have Wemby that could shoot the three. Like Olynyk can shoot the three, but Birch outside of 10 feet,
it's not really doing much.
yeah, it's like he's just mainly there to rebound, set screens, disrupt defense, right?
Right. And the thing is, Wemby only had 4 points that game. Gobert played, I think, 3 minutes or like
You do much, yeah.
yeah, Gobert really didn't play that game, which pretty much says a whole other thing with France that Gobert has to be benched, and because him and Wemby can't play together. I think they thought that they could play together, but they really can't. To make France the best team it could be, they literally bench the guy who just won Defensive Player of the Year, which makes you kind of feel like, what everyone's saying about Gobert, is it true? Like the man was benched. Defensive Player of the Year was benched on his own national team.
We've seen this in the playoffs before, right? Not this season, right, but before. Um, it's just crazy that it's happening international ball, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Because he is an NBA veteran. I want to say he's in maybe his 10th season at least, right?
Yeah,
He's got maybe 3 or 4 defense player of the years. So it's like, I think he's got maybe 2 rebounding titles too, or something like that. So it's like he puts in work, right? He's just an old school center. Literally just like a 1995. He'd be the number one pick in 95.
he probably would, crazy enough.
No, he'd probably be the number one pick in 2000 draft, actually.
Oh my gosh, he would be. That's a definitely a good omen for what we're about to deal with the 2000 draft when we do the redraft.
To be honest.
And then, so another thing with Team Canada, so they're not big enough, right? And when you watch FIBA ball, the reason why it's physical. It's so the refs let them play. Those games aren't 120 to 130 games.
It's like playoff ball. Yeah, yeah.
It's playoff ball, man. These mans are like playing defense, and it's crazy how, when we were watching ball, when we were like, to the 15 to 25, the Euro guys were known as soft. They're known as soft. This is not no soft league. Like where these men are competing, there's no soft league. These guys are fighting.
The hero mans were always the tall man shooting.
That's what they were known for.
Like the
But
6'8", 6'9", they'd be outside shooting, like, get in the post, get in the post. That was what the
yeah,
hero.
these guys are physical, and I think Team Canada plays like Team USA, which makes sense because we're like neighbors. We just play identical, and also everyone in Team Canada is trying to make it to the league, and the league plays more fancier. It doesn't have bruisers, right? So Team Canada needs a bruiser. They need a big guy. Hopefully when Zach Edey comes, I think no matter what, getting size is what you need. You need
Yes.
size.
Yes.
I do think this was Canada's best opportunity because I think the world is going to get better, which I'll get to if you can remind me. Like, I think the world is getting better. I think USA, this was like their last really good run. I don't see it happening.
Okay.
The world is getting better. I want to get to Jamal, and then we'll get to that one as well. But yeah, like with Team Canada, the future, it's in 4 years, right? The next Olympics is in 4 years, 2028. Shea will be 30, Dort will be 30,
Yeah.
Brooks will be 30. Olynyk is not going to be in the league at that time because he'll be much older then. I don't think he's going to make it. Birch will be much older. Dwight Powell is 33 now, which I thought he was way younger. I did not know he was
Ooh,
33.
Dwight Powell's 33, huh?
Yeah, so he's going to be 37. You you may still need him at that time because he'll be older and he'll be
He
physical.
looks pretty
So
good for his age still. I can't
right,
lie.
so I'm thinking he'll be fine. Right, just
Maybe he could be playing maybe next time, but how he's keeping his body, who knows?
yeah, I didn't know he was 33. I was like, oh, he's
He
33.
looks
Like
pretty good shape too. Yeah.
that's not bad. Like we would have needed Tristan Thompson. We would have needed him. 100% we would have needed him. He was he would have been good for that France game. So but the bigs wise, there's not really a lot of bigs coming, out the pipe. I was listening to a podcast and me and you have talked about this. I'm all for this. So I'll ask you, are you for, you know, trying to get, you can't really get a star, but you can get some sort of guy to, I don't even know like a name. Like I'm thinking of Claxton from the Nets. Like you're not gonna make it to Team USA. You're not. There's too much. Lively's gonna make it in 4 years. You have OKC man is gonna make it. You have all those mans that are gonna make it. You're not
Yeah.
gonna be the next big. Do you want to come to Team Canada? Do you have a cousin that lives in Canada? Because all you need is some sort of like connect to Canada. They'll be like, oh, yeah, yeah, he could be on your team. Are you for like, Team Canada kind of poaching like that?
Getting import.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm in general not for imports in general. That's why when Embiid was on, that was Embiid is on the U.S. team, it's like what? So I'm not for it still. Like I want Canada to get better, but I want them to be homegrown still. You know what I mean? That's just me.
I agree. The things Embiid said that he was for 2028, he'll probably play for Cameroon.
All right.
Yeah, I think he saw South Sudan and was like, this interests me. And I think Cameroon would be a good team. At the end of the day, it'd be him, Pascal. There's a few other mans that are on the pipeline.
Kind of nice still. Him and Pascal on the squad is kind of nice still.
You know what I'm saying? Especially if
What's
they
up with
just
right now? I
if they
think
just develop other mans, they'll be fine. Especially if they let mans play FIBA ball. Like to me, you want to win Olympics, you want to win FIBA, let them play like overseas. If they can't make it to league, overseas mans just play so much harder. They just do. They just do. I don't care. Team
still
USA
ball
just always have talent,
forever. They'll forever have talent.
right? So
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to. Sometimes I really want that, but I know like a Brandon Clark, he I believe should be like 32 by that time
True. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because
Sure.
he's a not an old
Is
guy.
he? No, maybe he's not. Maybe 30 at the time. Maybe 30.
Yeah, he'll be um and he's probably he should be playing. Hopefully he's not injured or anything like that. So he should be in the league. Yeah, born 96. So by then he's 27, so he'd be 31. Perfect. Right. So he could be a big, maybe you're starting big, which hopefully not. Hopefully you just need to get better bigs.
Yeah.
Right. And oddly enough, you know how old RJ will be in 4 years?
I want to say 30.
No, like 27, 28.
Was that young still,
Yeah,
huh?
RJ is very young.
He came with Zion, right? Yeah, yeah.
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 Yeah. He's young. Yeah. RJ 23, 24 right now. So he'll be like 24, 29. But he's not gonna be 30. Like he's not 30 yet.
Shoot, okay. Yeah, he's like in his fifth, sixth season, right? Yeah.
Right. So you know RJ will be there. Jamal's gonna be older because Jamal's near us age. Jamal will be like 34, 35. But to me, Jamal can come off the bench anyway. Like if he's your bench guy, that's not bad. You saw what Fournier did. You can see what Batum does, Patty Mills. It's okay. I feel like FIBA doesn't have an age sometimes. Like as long as you play smart, FIBA game will be fine for you. So I think, but I also still, if I tell you these names, Matherin should be on the squad next.
100, 100.
Shaden Sharp, who to me has like
There's a lot of upside.
he is that upside is crazy.
A lot of upside.
The man has best like top 10 player in the league upside.
He has upside crazy. It's just, can he develop in Portland?
That's the question, right? So there's those two guys who we're still seeing, and there's still going to be more guys throughout the pipeline that, what if Nemhard takes like two additional steps? Like,
But
Shea is still going to be Shea in 4 years, hopefully. The only guy you can really see, like the big guys will get a decline, and Jamal Murray will have a decline, right? So those are the two guys. Now, Jamal Murray, getting to him, did not play well at all. He wasn't good at all, right? And I do think if he played to the Jamal Murray that we all believe he is, this team is beating France because two dynamic guards like that will be so hard to beat consistently. And it makes it easier for Brooks and Dort and Powell to all be bruisers. When you only have the one person doing everything, it's hard.
yeah,
It's gonna be very hard. Also, I think Andrew Wiggins.
but
I know he's near us, but
he's not playing for next. No, he's done.
I think so too. Like, and would you want him? He's gonna be at that time. He'll be 33, which is actually not
Mm,
old at all.
it's not bad actually.
Not
That's
bad at
okay.
all.
That's okay.
Yeah. So he'll be 33. Once again, if you have these guys coming off the bench, and you have this you're in 4 years, you're going Shaden Sharp, Matherin, maybe Zach Edey starts, and then like a four man, and then your bench is like the Wiggins, Jamal Murray. So you have
How
such
was
a
Dort? How was Dort? Maybe.
Dort is a little older,
Okay.
but he's not too much older.
Maybe he comes off the bench.
Maybe he comes off the bench, right? Like you
Mhm.
can do stuff, and there's always some like a random guy who kind of comes out of nowhere. Um, Dort is he's 25. Oh, he'll be 29. That's
Beautiful.
not bad.
Beautiful.
Right? It's not bad. And he's always gonna be a good defender. So you can have Shade Dort, Shaden Sharp, a four man, and like a Zach Edey. So it's still so there's still potential for the squad. Like definitely still potential. And then RJ, I didn't even mention RJ. So you still have RJ. So you have Dort Shea, you still have Nikhil Alexander. Like you're still gonna be good, right? It's just Jamal Murray. So Jamal Murray didn't play well at all. There's something going on with Jamal. I believe they said there's no real injury, but there's something, right?
Some. Mm.
Because he wasn't good. Now, I wanted to bring this up to you, and he's on a contract. You
Oh,
know,
it's right
he's
here
going to a contract year,
this season. Okay.
right? And that's why even the GM is like, we'll wait and see, but he's our guy. We'll pay him. He's our guy. I don't know, man. If he's playing like this, you're trying to for because he's Jamal Murray. If you're thinking Jamal Murray, his contract extension is a 4 year, $200 million contract.
He can
Like,
play ball, but he hasn't. He's still not. He's not an all star. He's
he's
never
not
an
an
all.
all star. So do you want to pay that to someone who's not an all star?
That's just crazy. He's not an all star, right? Would he make all star in the East? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, for sure. For I think circumstances not an all star because the West is just too deep guard wise.
He's your guy that got you what you needed to go, right? Not, not too long ago, right? So he didn't jump ship like, Kawhi, for example, right after the ring. He's there. You know what I mean? You guys believed in him through his injuries, back to back injuries, and season ending injuries. So it's like,
But then are you thinking that he's potentially like an injury prone? Because if you really think about it, since pandemic, he had the one healthy time, and that was when they won the title. But he's never been consistently healthy.
honestly, he's injury prone. It's true. He's injury prone.
Like,
He,
and then so are you forking 200 mil?
that's tough.
Right? So I wrote down in my notes, like, is he Klay Thompson now? Is he that player that like has done something for you, but you're kind of like, I'm not too sure if I'm willing to give that back to you. Because Golden State wasn't willing to give Clay the bag. They're like, because Clay could have got like $120 million contract, because of his tenure and blah blah blah. But Golden State's like, hey man, we have these two young guys and like Podinsky and we have
No, Pachinski is
Kaminga,
there. He's decent.
right? Like we kind of have these guys. Do we really want to pay? Denver doesn't have that pipeline.
But they don't.
They don't have that pipeline that Golden State has.
They don't. They
So
don't.
it's like you kind of feel like you should pay him. And like me, you talked about, you have Jokic, who is Jokic. Get the man as much guys he needs.
Get guys around him so you guys can win again. If you guys win again. You know what I
I'm
mean?
like, I'm gonna cheat as much as I can. I'll be like, hey, Jokic, who do you like the most from Serbia? From
Straight,
those players, let's bring two of them.
straight.
Whatever you need, we got you. You
I
know,
mean, might as
and
well. Look at how the Thanasis effect.
you know what I'm saying? Like it's a thing. But yeah, like so if you're not you okay, so you're the GM of Denver. You got to give Jamal a contract. You're calling up Jamal. What contract are you trying to give him? It's a 3 to 4 year contract. What are you giving him?
This max is 200, huh? Shit, man. I'm
It,
doing
you he could sign like a $200 max extension, close to $200, but you can obviously offer him whatever you want, or he's gonna go to free agency.
I'm gonna offer him the less than 200. That's 100%. I'm giving him the one something like maybe the 150, one, yeah.
Which it's still quite a few. It's probably lower than what he because he's gonna go to free agency then.
Or
But to
like
me, you don't let him go to free agency. You don't let him because he will feel disrespected because he did so much for you.
he did. You're not giving is 150 a trash offer?
It's not. It's not though. It's
Is
not.
it like a disrespectful offer? I don't think so.
But if you make him go to free agency, the team that everyone I think should always be scared of is San Antonio
Yes. Yes.
because people will be willing to play with Victor.
Yes. And you're starting to see you've seen a little what's cooking already.
You
Yeah,
still,
Barnes, little CP over there. And I can't say little CP, pause, but you already know.
yeah,
CP is a
no,
difference maker. He is a difference maker. Like we did with Phoenix when he was there.
yeah, I think it's looking for Jamal Murray's contract. Like, yeah, he signed a 5 year 158 and going into yeah, he's gonna be 36 mil. So I don't know what his next contract extension will look like, but it's gonna look like something. It's gonna look like something because he may want to raise. He may
We
want
all
to raise.
lose, but it is what it is.
What's 40 mil for 4 years? That's 160 if he wants to raise. And that's 40 mil. I'm being nice. These mans are getting $50 million contracts yearly.
Silly. It's silly.
So I don't
Silly.
know. I think it'll be a hard move for them. But yeah, so I just think like that with Jamal Murray, something you have to kind of focus on. Team USA. Let's go to Team USA because they won. Team Canada, we can talk about in the future as well. The Jamal Murray thing is a little worrisome. Hopefully, Team Canada can get some bigs and we can. I think Rowan Barrett and Steve Nash are looking at it like, okay, we're seeing the pipeline. We're getting a lot of good guards, which we want to continue to have, but we need a lot of bigs. We need to kind of get more guys with like 6'9", 6'10", who can shoot and play some like who are just tough, like can finish around the basket. So hopefully that will come. Team USA wins. It was a closer game against France, but they won. They won. We all know they were gonna win. The crazy thing, their biggest controversy that people keep talking about is Jason Tatum. That guy gets talked about a lot because a lot of people are like his minutes. He's not getting any minutes. He's not starting. He's not this, he's not that. Jason Tatum just won a title. He just won a title, but he's barely playing on Team USA. Some people are blaming Steve Kerr. They think it's a Steve Kerr thing. I can kind of see it as you need to sacrifice when you're on a team, right? And Team USA is the biggest sacrifice you can make. You have to, everyone has to sacrifice. This team is about three mans. Let's just every year is about a certain thing. It's about LeBron, Steph, and Katie.
Yep. Yep.
I'm sorry that you're not with the three of those guys. You're just not.
Not, yep. And
So it's
you can
about those three guys, and it's a little bit about, oh, we have Embiid on the team. Like, let's see what Embiid can do. You know me, how I feel about certain players. Devin Booker has never been the shiniest person to me, but Devin Booker has impressed me a lot. He literally said, I'm gonna play defense and shoot open threes. I'm gonna die for loose balls. I'm gonna play tough. Whatever you three guys need, I'm here for you. And everyone followed suit to me.
yeah.
Because you have the three guys. We were all watching those three guys. They're the guys, right? But Jason Tatum didn't play. So I've talked enough. What are your thoughts about this whole Jason Tatum didn't play enough? What's your thoughts about the whole Jason Tatum thing?
And they just won a ring, like you said, right? Body's still, your body needs to rest, right? NBA season, long season, plus playoffs. You guys are gonna make another deep run again in the offs if you guys are healthy, right? And you, at the end of the day, you're getting a medal too. Like you're getting a medal too. You know what I mean? So you won a title, you won a medal, same season. That's a good year at the end of the day. So that's
And you
how
got a baby. And you got a baby.
and you gotta congratulations, Tatum. So it's been a good year. So I look at it overall like there's so much things overshadowing it that happened to me this year, the birth of a child, championship. Like it's to me, it's I look at it like I get to experience being Olympics, playing with these great group of guys, some like couple players on the top 75, right? So that's how I look at it, right?
I think it's one thing is like people have to find drama. They have to find drama. They have to be like, oh, why isn't Jason Tatum not playing? I do agree. Jason Tatum, obviously, we all believe he's a good enough player to play. Now, I do think Jason Tatum is unselfish. I think he's unselfish. I think he likes to pass the ball, but I think he likes to handle the ball. And this team said, hey, LeBron, you're our point guard. And this Steve Kerr offense, LeBron was basically Draymond Green. He was Draymond Green, and Steph was still playing like Steph. Steph plays a lot of off ball. People have to realize he plays a lot of off ball.
Yes.
So he played a lot of off ball, and then Durant is basically Steph Curry but 6'10", so darn 7 foot.
Just out there playing this playground ball.
And
So
Embiid is should be a mismatch. He's too foolery sometimes to be a mismatch. But you have to on this team, you have to be unselfish. And I can kind of see Jason Tatum not fitting well with this specific team because there's guys like Durant and LeBron that almost do similar things as Jason Tatum.
which is true. I think Tatum would be trying to handle the ball a lot. Not a lot, but more than he should be for the game plan.
Right. Especially for this team, right? Because his Jason Tatum is better at handling the ball because he's the best one of the best players in the league, right? So I think sometimes it makes it difficult. Once again, people are like, "Oh, Jason Tatum shouldn't play in 2028." No, no, in 2028, it's him and Anthony Edwards' team.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
It's their team. No one's gonna take it from them. The only two mans that can come and take, or maybe three mans, and correct me if I'm wrong, is gonna be potentially Ja can take it away from him. But I think I'm not sure if Ja will play in Team USA. That's just my thought process. Unless his that whole image part changes completely, it's
Mm,
gonna be Zion can,
I say Zion, yeah.
right, and then Cooper Flag,
I was gonna say Cooper too.
right. Those are the only mans that can really take it. But ultimately, we definitely know Anthony Edwards is gonna be on the squad. We definitely know,
Cooper is yeah.
right? Anthony Edwards, give me Anthony Edwards squad in like 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. He's up next in the league.
He's really up next, right? And then Jason Tatum is right there with him. It's gonna be those two guys. That's how I would see. Like Jason Tatum was like the third leading scorer when they won, I think the Olympics like the 4 years ago. Or it was either him, it was that one, or it wasn't FIBA, because FIBA would have been thing. But Jason Tatum was like a top three scorer for them. But you didn't have the LeBrons, you didn't have Steph, you didn't have few mans. And you know what man didn't play well in the Olympics 4 years ago? Dame Lillard didn't play well, right? Because Dame is not. He's not an Olympic type. Some guys aren't Olympic players,
Yeah, yeah, it's just
right?
true.
Like Dennis Schroeder. Look at Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder is like the best point guard in fucking FIBA.
Dennis Schroeder's balling.
Like
He's balling.
the
But
Dennis Schroeder in FIBA is like the man was a top. He made it to the all NBA FIBA version for the Olympics. He was the number one point guard.
for real,
Yeah, he
Schroeder.
Schroeder is Schroeder, Steph, and then the next man. Then I think Jokic. No, no, it goes Schroeder, LeBron. I should just search this.
Schroeder's that's going to work. Schroeder, huh?
He's a
He
guy,
can
right?
play
So
though. Schroeder can play. He has game. So I
you
don't
have to
want to
play a
not
certain
Schroeder,
way.
but he can play.
You have to play a certain way, and he did. Like I so yeah, the first team was Dennis, Curry, Victor, LeBron, and Jokic.
That's amazing company to be in.
Yeah, yeah,
At the
it is,
top.
right?
When you're at the top.
So you have to play like that, and Durant can play FIBA. Durant can be amazing on FIBA because he moves around, he plays tough, he shoots the ball. That's FIBA ball. Dame is a little bit more ball hoggy. Like James Harden wouldn't work in FIBA,
Isolation.
right?
Real isolation players.
People don't see it. Like Jokic scores less, and so does and Luca. Like Luca actually scores just as much, I should say. The usage is high, but the way they play, even in FIBA, is a little different. It's not as ball hoggy. Every man
Yeah.
gets to touch the ball, da 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 da. So it's a weird dynamic that they're gonna have to face. Now, the one comment I made to you that I'll bring up again is this. This to me is the last time they're gonna be dominant, Team USA.
Saying that.
Victor Wembanyama clearly is the man. He's here. He's coming, right? He's coming. He's gonna be the best player in the league. We've seen the European players be the best players in the league in the past few years. The American guys are not as good. The next guy that's going to be the next American great player can either be Anthony Edwards or it's Cooper Flag, right? Or his name is AJ. I think AJ, who's coming, not the Cooper draft in the year after, that's 2026. He's the guy that may make it to Team USA. He's
About
coming. Sorry?
I haven't heard about no AJ yet.
Yeah, his name is AJ. They say he has like skills like LeBron kind of right now. And there's another guy they said maybe Paul George already. Like he has a little bit of Paul George already in him.
Really?
Yeah, they
Those
say
are-
there's in those next two drafts, because he's coming with the Boozer twins.
okay. I hear about the Boozer boys.
The next two drafts are really being touted as like that back-to-back drafts are gonna be like nasty.
We'll see. We'll see. Because we already know how it goes with drafts. We'll see.
Right. Drafts are such a that's why I come to terms when people's like, oh no, this draft's gonna be amazing. I'm like, I've really come to terms like, let's just wait and see. Because some drafts you weren't told. That '09 draft was never supposed to be the way it became. The 2011 draft was supposed to be the John Wall draft, and the last person standing is Paul George. Like you can never say like a draft is what you think it is because no one knew Steph Curry was going to be the guy who he is today. And mind you, Steph Curry killed it, hit those game-winning shots against France, put them to sleep. That man was dynamite. But yeah, so the dominance of Team USA, you don't have a LeBron, KD, and Steph in the pipeline. Like you don't. Now Steph came out of nowhere, so that can always come
This can
out of
happen.
nowhere again.
This can happen. Players can develop.
Right. Like, but Durant and LeBron, respectfully, you don't have another LeBron. The guy that we think the next LeBron is in France.
Yeah. Yeah. The next
He's in
generation.
France,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Serbia is gonna get better because Jokic is still Jokic. Giannis is still Giannis. Embiid may not play for Team USA again.
That's yeah.
He got
Yes.
his gold and saying deuces to them. So you have that. Team Canada is still going to be pretty good. Germany is going to have Franz and a bunch of other guys as well. And like I said, Victor, you have the number one overall pick and number two overall pick, who are from France. You have Bilal Koulibaly, who played against Team USA, but really didn't play throughout most of FIBA. But he played this one because he plays against them normally, so they knew they could bring him on. Makes sense.
True.
Was a good tactic by the coach, I felt. You have them, you have the next guy who's like a top 10 pick as well from France. And I think they have a next guy next year from France. So like the
France
French
is,
team is gonna be nice,
yeah, yeah, they're already, yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? They have length, they're young, and like Team USA's future is Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards, Halliburton, maybe Ja, maybe Zion. Like it'll be dominant if like a Zion comes.
Burton is that guy though. When it comes to diamond, he is that guy.
Like Halliburton can do a lot because he'll probably be like a starting point guard or something like that if Ja doesn't
Him and
come.
Edwards will be fun to watch.
Right. But I just don't think they'll be as dominant. They just won't to me.
I don't think so. They're gonna do their thing though. Don't sleep. They're
Oh
gonna
no, no.
do.
USA, I think USA will still be a, a medalist team, but
The
uh,
gap is getting
the gap is getting close. That's my biggest thing. The gap, we see it in the league, it's happening. So it's only going to get better internationally. Like that team that they brought to the Olympics, not Olympics, the FIBA games last year, when it was led by like Brunson, Mikal Bridges, all that stuff. That was like their,
C squad.
you know what I'm saying? It really was. It wasn't even their B squad. It was like their C squad. Some would argue their D squad because it wasn't like a lot of guys. Legit at that time was a lot of guys. Like Walker Kessler was like one of their pillars on the team, and the man went played summer league. So clearly the development path didn't translate, right? So and there's a weird chance, like in 4 years, is Steph still playing?
He's gonna be,
Possibly,
what's he gonna be? 38?
yeah, something like that.
38, huh?
So think about his contract.
Thing is, Steph, he plays off ball. He can
He's
play
not
off
wrong.
ball.
Yeah.
And at that age, he's still gonna dribble still nice. So he's still gonna be able to like I see Steph for the next like 4 years in the league, not averaging less than 15 points a game.
Oddly, his contract ends in 2026, but they'll sign him to an extension, like a last extension.
Like this is it. And after if you retire, retire. If not, we're letting you walk. Because
Yeah,
my
I'll definitely let you walk. But they'll sign him to another extension.
40
He's
year
probably
old,
extension eligible next year.
the only person I see getting an extension that is in 40, 39, 40 is LeBron. That's gonna
Yeah.
get like a 200 or it's LeBron, to be honest. I don't see any other player doing that, to be honest.
Yeah, LeBron and Steph, and then like there'll be no one in the pipeline. But yeah, that's something I'm very curious to see that 2028 Olympics. But life can be slow. Life doesn't have to go that fast. Life can pause a little bit. We don't have to get to 2028. But I think it's also fun to see like when we don't see so much dominance from a specific area. I think it's nice that when we see like different countries compete at that level. It makes it more interesting to watch. So, but I think the world is definitely coming, for sure. But once again, my last note, yeah, shouts to Devin Booker. I really do think the man has been good. He's been good. So now let's get to the main thing, which would be our redraft. Once again, our redraft videos have been doing really well. So please thank you guys so much for watching. But make sure you guys subscribe. There's more content coming. The league, the season's coming soon. Like season will be here within a month and a half. We may talk some NFL as well if some random stuff happen. We may
Definitely.
talk some other stuff, maybe some fantasy NFL because we're about to do some like fantasy stuff. So why not? But we're gonna do some redrafts. The 2000 and 1999 NBA redraft. We're gonna go 2000 first because it was the harder draft to do.
This was one of the worst drafts in NBA history.
Let me actually now search it. What made this draft so hard for you?
The lack of talent, the lack of players that played in general over 400 games in the league. You know what I mean? The lack of household names, even role players. Like I didn't like there were some guys, but you had to watch ball to know. Okay, yeah, he was in the league. He played. You know, right? So like you have Stromae Swift is your number two pick.
Yeah,
Stromae Swift. I swear he played maybe 4 seasons, five, maybe 6 seasons, maybe. So
Jamal Swift. Because he had a good like
he had a good, like, he could dunk, but that's all I remember him doing dunks. That's it. He didn't develop anything.
he played 9 years in the league, but like
Oh,
nothing crazy. No accolades, nothing like that. So I was gonna do some quick shout outs to notable undrafted players. I think I saw a name.
hold on,
Ime Udoka. Ime Udoka was an undrafted player here.
okay.
So shout out to Ime. Um,
No wonder he's tough.
there's also I saw another man. Jamari Smith's father was drafted here.
Yes, yes, yes.
So shouts out to him. And then I'm not sure if Eddie House is in your top 10. Don't want to spoil it, but if he's not, shouts to Eddie House as well. Matique Cleaves was a guy in the Michigan
UConn with
State.
Michigan State. Yeah,
Yeah, he was a guy. So like
he won a ring with him, right? Yeah, yeah, they won
yeah,
a
he
ring.
won the title. Like, so a lot of people won't know that, but I just want to say shouts out to him.
Yeah, the team
Um,
was a guy coming out.
yeah, he really was.
I knew he wasn't going to be that good in the league because it's like, I want to say he's 5'10", like not athletic, not crazy quick, not an elite shooter, but he was good in college.
The thing is, I want to watch the draft coverage for this one to see what they were saying. I've always wanted to. I know I watched the one with Joe Smith, and the way they were like, this guy's the next coming. This guy's coming. Like, so I just want to see what they're saying because you get things wrong. You get things wrong. It's human nature. You get things wrong. But then when you just hear it, you're like, man, you just have to self-reflect and be like, you were really wrong.
Yeah, yeah,
Like you
yeah.
were
That wasn't
really
smooth.
wrong.
But then it's
Um,
up for the player to develop and be serious about their craft.
but 2000 does have like I would say to me six guys that like actually had an impact in games. Maybe seven guys
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah,
like that actually impacted like games, like
yeah,
some sort of say like role playing wise or something like that.
yeah.
Um,
Okay,
but
let's get in. Who's your number one for this 2000? Because I think it's should be.
I feel like I know who you picked. I didn't pick this person, and I'll say why. The way I went into this draft was thinking who just had like the overall career, and I'm more reflecting. We're now 24 years in. Who's the person that you can still say, okay, this person had the best impact at the best time? Like who was at their highest? So I picked Kenyon Martin. He was the number one overall pick of the whole thing, which kind of fits. Like normally, number one pick it doesn't always stay the number one pick, but he's my number one pick just because when he was at his best, he was at his best. Wasn't an all star, which was weird. No, he was an all star. He wasn't an all NBA player.
Okay,
Was
okay.
an all NBA player. He was an all star, but not an all NBA player. At his peak, he was good, and he helped Jason Kidd with the New Jersey Nets team. So I give him that. Who's yours?
That's a good pick, right? My first pick, 2000 draft, 24 years old, Jay Croft, Jamal
Makes
Crawford.
sense.
Like
Makes sense.
longevity, impact. Growing up, it was like, yo, Jamal Crawford, like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, no, he's my number two. So it's not like
yeah, it makes sense. Like
right, like
Cam had a good career overall still.
he out of everyone stayed in the league. He was the last one in the whole of the whole draft. He was a three-time six man of the year. His accolades are there. People love that. The man's last game ever as an NBA player was like he scored 50 points.
It was 50 he dropped on his last
Yeah,
game.
like his last game. And like he should have been signed the following year. I don't know why he was dissed like that, but he should have been signed. But he is
Just to be playing ball now, I feel, in the league.
yeah, he's a good player. Jamal Crawford's really good. Everyone's looking for the Lou Will, Jamal Crawford six man coming off your bench. We're all looking for that.
That's
Every
tough.
team wants that type of guy.
That's
Who
tough.
just get buckets. Who's your number two?
My number two is Kmart.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Shout out to Cincinnati.
Cincinnati for real. For real, for real. Yes, those two guys, clearly the best two guys who had the most throughout their whole career. And then to me, after those two, I would say it's like a drop off.
Yes.
I would like to me like
Actually, there's I would say that yeah, there's okay, we'll get into it. We'll get
who's your
into it.
number three?
Number three, shout out to this guy was one of the first real gunners. Shout out to Michael Red.
My same number three.
Ah,
Yeah, why was he your number three?
why wouldn't he? He came out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. I think he was like 52nd pick or something
Yeah,
like that,
he was a high pick.
right? And he was just came out and just gunning like 20 points a game, 25 points a game, threes with a good volume, good percentage. I'm like, who is this? No one expected him to be like that.
He was a 43rd pick,
40.
and I think injuries just hurt him, right?
That's what it was. That's really what it was. Because there was a drop off because he was dropping 20s a game.
Yeah, he averaged 19 points a game. He averaged 19 points a game. He uh he was on the team for 11 years, which I didn't even know he was on the team for that long.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. Michael Red was a guy. He was a guy.
he was in the gold medal. He was on the Olympic team in '08 too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He was, yeah, I agree. I think he he came out of nowhere, like you said, and I think he was a bucket getter, and like people respected him. Like definitely got the respect. The man had a he went from like 15 point, he went from 2 points to 11 points to 15, 21, 23, 25, 26, 22, then 21. I think he then got injured. And no, he got injured after the 22 games and then 20. Like, yeah, he's got injured. He
Solid
got
work.
injured. One of the playoffs in '06 playoffs, he averaged 27 points a game. He was a gunner. He was nice. Who's your number four?
Well, who's your number three? Oh, Michael
Big
Red
Michael
too.
Red, of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
My
everything
number,
you said, I agreed with. Yeah, he's
my number four,
sorry. Even with Michael Red, he was at one point. If he didn't get injured, he would easily be the number one overall pick.
100%. 100%. Shout out to he played for the Raptors, this next player. You should know. Turk, Hito
I really
Turk.
think our thing may be very this draft. It's very like who was the next good player. Maybe our last end won't be the same,
The
but I feel
last
like
five is gonna be kind of tough. I'm not gonna
the
lie.
the first five was pretty. Like as I was saying, the first five was you kind of know the first five.
Kind of yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
everyone else like it's kind of. But Hedo Turkey agreed. One of the first point forwards
yeah.
in the league. When he came to Toronto, I was actually hyped.
I know you were hyped.
I thought this man was gonna help Chris Bosh a lot. I
No,
generally thought like he was gonna help Chris Bosh.
he was pissed me off in Toronto because I'm like, where's the Orlando Turkaloo that we
He got his
all
bag. He got his money and cut. And mind you, he was like the number one free agent, like the probably number one or two free agents at the
yeah.
time.
Yeah, I remember there was, and when we landed, we're like, yo, we landed Turkaloo? Okay, like, you
Yeah,
know
we're
what I
cooking
mean?
something. Yeah, no, it's yeah, yeah. But then everyone saw like, oh, they just paid him more money than everybody else did.
That's really what it was. And he was just,
He didn't do nothing for us, man. People in Toronto don't like this guy at all. He didn't do anything for us at all. But he was like a pretty solid player
he was, he
when he
was.
chose to be solid. He was solid. I ain't gonna hold you.
Good choice of words.
Which when he wanted to be good, man, the man was good.
Who's
Uh,
your four? It's
uh,
Turk?
it's Turkle, yeah, yeah,
Turk, shout out Turk.
yeah.
Number five.
I
Oh,
really, I think my number five and our number five will be different. I think
well, we'll see. This was my number five is actually Mike Miller.
I had a feeling you were gonna pick him. I'm like, oh, you're gonna pick Mike Miller.
Yeah, yeah. He won a ring, had a long career, gunner. You know what I mean?
If I'm allowed to, I didn't. I don't know. I didn't pick Mike Miller. He was the rookie of the year.
Who was rookie of the year that year too?
Yeah,
He was, huh?
yeah. Why didn't I
Shoot.
pick this guy? If I'm allowed to, I would like to update mine and put him fifth as well because he would be my fifth.
Okay, okay.
He would be my fifth because he had played in the league for a long time too.
He did, he did. He had a good career.
He was the rookie of the year. He was pretty solid. Let me give his stats. A two-time NBA champion. He was a six man of the year in '06.
Oh shit, true. He won two
Yeah,
rings, huh? I forgot he won. Was Miami both times?
both Miamis.
True.
Both Miami. So when I think about careers, I'm like, he had a pretty good career. So why
Definitely.
wouldn't I want someone like that on the team? He was a good player, like a nice like bench guy who can help you out a little bit. Um, I was wanting to check Hito Turkoglu's stat lines. He was the most improved player in '08. Yeah, he like really fell off. Hito Turkoglu. I'm cheesed at the fact that we got him because him and Damari Carroll, like the two guys, I was like, oh wow, these guys are really gonna help the team, and they didn't help. It's one of those like
I
cheesy
like
memories.
DeMar Carroll helped more than Turkoglu by a little bit. But
I
DeMar Carroll's
know
cheesy,
they
man.
both they both pissed me off so much of how much I was expecting from them. Who's your next? Who's your number six?
Six. Now this is where it gets real tricky. This is where it gets. I want Quentin Richardson.
Oh yeah, mine too.
Shut the fuck. You serious, huh?
Yeah, because he was my fifth until the Mike Miller one. Because to me, it's like it really goes them that are like clear cut, like the ones you remember. Like 24 years later, you're like, no, these guys. Golden State Quentin Richardson was good. He
Yes.
was a dunk contest. He's in the crazy jerseys, the old Golden State jerseys that are swaggy as hell. Like those were, yeah, no, he's good. Let's even keep going through 2000. 2000 is not as good. Who's your number seven?
My number seven. It's tough. He made I think one All Star.
I feel we're the same person.
Canadian Jamal
Yeah, Jamal
McClure.
McClure. Same,
Holy
same.
shit.
Yeah, he made one All Star. People are probably so shocked that he was All Star. He is definitely an ambassador of like
Yes.
of Canada because
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
constantly outside doing shit. So shouts out to him just in general. He's like he's been doing his thing. He was like a Raptors assistant coach for like years. Everyone kept him on the squad because he helped the bigs. I think he helped JV a lot, Jonas, and yeah, he's been an ambassador for you know, Raptors and the league for a while. I think he goes to the Scarborough games a lot, the CEBL games, which
Okay.
the
Okay.
championship game was today. The Niagara River Lions won, so shouts out to them. I want to get back. I know some people who really focus on CEBL. I want to get on that league more because like we talk about expanding ball in Canada. We have a league. We got to do it. Like we have
Which
to.
is
Like
true.
we need to be, and hopefully they are. I think they are. Like you got to tell these young ball players, yes, you want to make it to league, but if you don't, we have this league. Like
Which is
Europe, man's, they're like saying F the NBA and staying in Europe. You
it's
know,
true. It's so true.
we got to have that same kind of mentality. Like be proud of playing ball here.
And there's a lot of states guys that are playing in CEBL. Shout out to
Right.
Cat Barbara.
Right. Exactly. There's Xavier Moon. Like there's mans there that are getting minutes. But yeah, shout out to Jamal. Who is that was your number seven and my number seven? Who's your number eight?
This is tough. I went with he won a ring. This player also won a ring. He was a defender. I went with Deshaun Stevenson.
Oh, okay. So this is our first difference. Sorry, this is number eight, right?
Yeah, number yeah,
Number
eight.
eight.
Yeah.
Who did he win the ring with? Oh, did he win with Dallas?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. He because I added Mike Miller, he's not on my list at all. But I don't he's a good pick. He had that weird beef with LeBron
Yeah.
for a little bit. My number eight is if you're old or you know this,
You
that's
already
Darius
know D
Miles.
Miles. D Miles. Let's get
That's
it.
Darius. When we talk about a highlight, that man was a highlight.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
whole like young Clippers team,
That
they were
Clippers
fun.
squad in 2000 was
They were
I love
fun.
watching them. I can't lie. I
They were,
love watching them.
they were fun. Like I don't even know who to compare him to. Like a guy like him. There's generally a lot of guys who are just like fun and energetic, but it was just a bad team that like
I
ran
think
up the
they were
court.
500 the next year, I want to say.
Yeah.
I love watching them. I was grade nine at the time, the next season, and I love watching them. They were my favorite team in grade nine to watch. Like they were
Yeah, they
just
were fun.
fast breaking. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I love these guys.
Yeah, they were fun, man. I think they made LA ball a little bit more exciting because they're trying to compete with the Lakers, and Lakers were winning titles. They're like, okay, what are we doing? Well,
Yeah,
let's
they
just
were
dump
winning
the
titles.
ball.
Like they were on those days. They were on three-peat
Right.
league,
And then,
so they
they
had
have
to
to do something. So it's
get first.
shouts out to him. Who's your number nine?
My number nine is shout outs to he's a clapper. I believe he won a ring too with the Heat, Mr. House.
Think I would have picked Eddie House because I think it's a great pick. I didn't choose. He was not on my top list, but he's a good pick, really good pick. He a good bench guy. He's a good point guard off the bench. So I think that's a really good pick. My number nine was a guy who played for the Raptors, which is Mo Pete.
Oh yeah, he was yo. I'll stay and put him yo. He's on my honorable mention.
Mo Pete was like he was like the longest tenured Raptor for the longest time.
He
The
was
longest time.
he played 8 seasons for us, right, or something like that.
Yeah, so he played with the Vince years and with the Bosch years.
Yeah,
So he was here for a minute.
yeah,
And a lot of people say it's weird. He hit that shot against Washington, which I think allowed them to go to the playoffs, which then dropped their draft seeding, which lost them a player that's like a Hall of Famer. Like it all is like it's a trickle down effect. Like if he didn't hit that shot, the Raptors would have done this and then it would have been here. It's like a whole, but you never know what would have happened. You don't know
that's
what they would have
tough.
drafted. That's the one
That's
thing
tough.
I don't like looking back at like drafts and go like, oh man, this team should have drafted them. No, no, no. Like to me, don't go back and only give me sometimes. Minnesota could have picked Steph Curry because they picked two point guards. You could have picked one of them as Steph Curry. I think.
That's
But
crazy.
to
Minnesota.
me, Greg Oden is not a bust. You would have picked Greg Oden. That's what you would have
It's just
decided.
injuries. He's not a
It's
bust. If you
injuries
get injured, it's not you're not a bust. It's just injuries.
at
Like
all. Like
you're not a bust. Like you're healthy and you're not doing shit. Like Anthony Bennett.
right.
You're healthy, you didn't do shit. That's a bust.
Like what's his name? DeAndre Ayton. You would have picked DeAndre Ayton always. You would have never picked Luca. Like you would have never. You didn't. Who knew Luca was gonna be like this? You would have never picked that guy,
Crazy.
right?
It's
So
crazy.
it's a weird thing. Okay, let's get on to who's your number nine? You said is that
It was
Eddie?
House. It was Eddie
Okay.
House.
So our number 10, my number 10 was Desmond Mason. Had a few good seasons.
That
Wasn't spectacular, but he was a solid player.
was a good pick. Dunk off. He was
Yeah,
nice up there. Played for Seattle for a bit. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Shoot. My last pick, 10th. He was on your list.
There's Miles.
E Miles. You already know.
See, that's the thing, like our like last few picks, you had to know. Like you had to know Darius Miles was a guy
Yeah,
to know that he was like a guy.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Purple squad. What?
Right. You had to know. It's not after legit, I think we said Quentin Richardson for both of us. Everyone like both said Jamal McGlure. He was an all-star. Mind you, he was an all-star, and most of these guys weren't all-stars. But like Mike Miller wasn't an all-star.
Yeah.
Quentin Richardson maybe made one all-star. Jamal Crawford wasn't. Kenyon Martin probably like
D Miles, Eddie House.
right. Like McGlure was actually one of the all-stars. So shouts out to this whole draft was hard, I think we would say.
It was a tough one still.
So let's go straight to the 1999 draft, a much easier draft to go through. Let me give my quick shouts out to certain players. I don't think you picked these mans. I'm gonna assume, but if you did, I'll still say shouts out
Let's
to
see.
Chris Anderson, Raja Bell,
Shout out Rajah Bell.
um, Jorge Garbajosa. The reason I say shouts out to
Jorge.
Jorge Garbajosa because he was a Toronto Raptor for 1 year and he helped them to the playoffs with Chris Bosh and he got injured and if he didn't get injured, he would have been something. Um, Yes, this is the draft. So this is a 1999 draft. Pablo Prigioni was drafted.
Oh
Uh,
shit.
he didn't play in the league until like, oh, he's like one of the oldest like rookies ever. He
Yeah.
played, he played in
Holy
the league in 2012. So he got
12
drafted in
years.
1999 and didn't play until
13.
2012.
13 years
Yeah,
that he was in contact with NBA. Like, yo,
I
I
could
want you to
come.
come
I don't
over, man.
want
I
to
want
come.
you to come over when you're coming
Yeah.
over.
And if I think if he came earlier, I don't know if he would have been great, but he's not in my top 10, but he's definitely an honorable mention because of his Euro time. Let me just tell you his Euro before we get to the list. A two-time Euro League second team. He's a Spanish League champion, three-time Spanish Cup winner, four-time Super Cup winner. He's an MVP in the league. His jersey's retired, multiple division cups. He won bronze in Beijing with Argentina. He's won some like gold. He won an America Cup gold, like as a head coach in 2022.
Bronze medal in Beijing, huh?
Yeah,
That's
like
big time.
he was good. So I will give him tons of like if he played in the league, I'm very curious how he would have been. Very curious. And then other than that, I don't have any other. I think I said Raja Bell, and I swear I saw some coaches that got drafted. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's go. Who is your number? Oh, sorry, Calvin Booth was drafted. He's the GM of the Denver Nuggets who is gonna make bad choices soon. Okay, go ahead. My bad. Go.
Number one, this was honestly hard to pick number one. I'm not gonna lie.
Was it really?
Yeah, because I was torn between two guys, right?
I think Loki there's a consensus number one.
Well, I definitely probably went against the consensus number one with BD, Baron Davis.
That's your number one pick
Yes.
over the guy I'm about to say number one.
I know you're gonna say number one, but I'm doing the redraft. This is my redraft. I'm picking BD.
Why you pick him?
That was an electrifying point guard, good size, could handle the ball, quickness. Injuries slowed him down though. Injuries did slow him down. He would have had a long career without injuries, but he was electrifying in his time.
He was. He was. My number one pick was to me the consensus. I'm gonna have to argue with you, sir. Is Manu Ginobili.
Of course,
Ginobili's number one because it's fucking Ginobili,
I hear you.
right?
I hear you.
He created the Euro step. He literally created the Euro step. The referees had to start checking cameras and be like, "Is this guy traveling? I'm confused. This guy, I need to know." He of course has four titles. He has four titles, and then he's was the third best player on those championship teams, sometimes the second best player.
I hear
Arguably,
you.
he's the first best player. He's, I
He's
think,
going to be the first best player with Tim Duncan on the squad. Let's say
yeah,
that.
no, no, he's a four-time. He's a two-time All-Star, two-time All NBA third team. Mind you, this man came off the bench. He's a sixth man of the year one time. Um, multiple other accolades, some Olympic accolades. This guy is a consensus number one overall pick. I'm shocked that he was not your number one.
You want me to go pull up some Baron Davis stats right now?
No, no, I believe Baron Davis was good. I just think Ginobili's that guy.
Okay, we're talking about who is a better player or who is in a better system, Manu Ginobili or Baron Davis.
Ginobili, of course, in a better system for sure. Like you're like better player, you're correct. Uh, he's there. Okay, who's your number two?
My number two, you said it, Ginobili.
Ginobili's that guy. Everyone always questions what if this guy played by himself? Like, how would he be? Right? Would he be that guy? But I always think like sometimes you fit a role so well that like it'd be hard for you to do something else. So I think at one point he wouldn't be able to be a number one guy. Right? James Harden stopped being a number one guy early. They're like, oh, he's a six man of the year. Okay, let's take him out. They took him out immediately. This would be much harder if he played like James Harden couldn't be a number one option after like 5 years of being a six man.
No, no.
It's a different like mentality that you have to go with, right? Um, but okay, my number two is the Matrix, Sean Marion. He's my
Well,
number
this list is different for us, for real.
because like the reason why I picked him. Oh yeah, listen, the Baron Davis number one, it's definitely different. Sean Marion, he was a great wing player, a good defender. If I'm looking at the, whose career I would want to have picked, he's one who I would have wanted to pick. Mind you, this draft was kind of hard for me because
Yeah,
I was really trying to figure out like a lot of these guys have the same kind of resume,
which is true. Which is
right?
true.
So it's kind of like I can pick Marion, but a guy I'm pretty sure you're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about Lamar Odom's resume a little bit better,
That's why
right?
it's your list, right? You
Right.
already
So
saw the
it's
consensus
weird,
number
but
one. I was
I
like,
like
okay,
Marion.
May
And
number
if I'm correct, like the only Hall of Famer is gonna be Ginobili. Maybe Sean Marion, but I don't think so. And yeah, I think he's the only one. Sorry, who's your number two? Oh,
was
excuse Ginobili. Sorry, your number three.
number three. Man has a ring with the purple and gold.
Yeah,
Lamar Odom.
he's my number three too.
Yeah, okay. We're on the same page with number three pick. First two, it is what it is. Number three, okay. Odom, you already know, was the first type of point forward that was really handling the ball and that won a title. Like Turkoglu was doing this thing, but remember, Odom came in a year before Turkoglu, so Odom was doing it first, if you really want to say that, right? So Odom came in and he was doing this coked out, cracked out, doing this,
Yeah, Odom
right?
was the guy.
So taking it if he was clean and was like, I'm clean, clean, he would have had a way better career and he had a good career, right?
Yeah,
So
Odom was the guy. I like Odom. He's a nice like point forward to have that most teams are like looking for. To this day, people are looking for guys like Lamar Odom.
dribble, shoot, pass, defend.
Yeah, no, he was real good. It sucks because you think if he had his head on straight, where his career would be.
Yeah.
So number four,
Number four, I know we use this. This is a term we use a lot, right, for the deceased. But this guy, R.I.P. Rip Hamilton, was a real mid-range killer.
really was.
So Rip Hamilton, number four. Shout out to Rip.
My
One of
number
the best
four,
off-ball players I've ever seen in my life.
and he like was one of the first to really like kill it on off ball, like really killed it.
Like,
Uh,
yeah, like
Good
Clay,
defender.
yes, yes,
I think this draft has a lot of like this is the like a lot of role player draft. There's a lot of like third guy on a championship
yes,
team type guys,
yes,
like second
yes.
and third guys, like
Like
legit.
I'm a better than a role player. I'm like contributing to the team in a way.
Yeah, yeah. So Rip, I'm gonna name him soon. He's not my number. My number four is Ron Artest
Mm,
because defensive player of the year.
mm,
He has the title. He definitely has the title as well.
mhm.
So I gotta give Ron Artest some love. Once again, the attitude is what hurts his career. But I
Yeah,
also think like if he didn't have that like attitude, where would he be also? Like it could be the gift and the curse of him. But
the
Ron Artest,
attitude
Meta
of
World
passion.
Peace, that's my number four pick. I'll say my number fifth one before you say yours. Mine was Rip Hamilton. So everything you said about Rip, off ball, good defender, really helped Detroit at the time. A good player overall.
Shout out to Rip. My number went to five, right?
Yeah,
Five. I got the Jet, not Kenny. Jason Terry, JT. Won a ring, was a certified bucket getter, had some great years in Atlanta. Had good years everywhere.
he
Shout
really
out to
did.
Jason Terry.
Yeah, he's my number six. So he was like solid in every like team he was on. A good vet to have on your locker room.
Yeah.
Helped out a lot. won a title with Dallas. That title we all can say probably one of the hardest titles to ever win.
Yes.
So he was always kind of consistent and legit. So shouts out to the Jet for
Played
sure.
18 years in the league.
Yeah, he had a
He
pretty
played
good like career.
1,400 games. 1,400 games.
He had a pretty good career. When you talk about like full length career, like his is up there, man. Honestly, like Ginobili had a full length career. Jason Terry had a full length career. A lot of these guys didn't have full length careers, but he had a full length career. Um, yeah. Who's your sixth?
My sixth pick is that guy. Shout out to the guy he didn't start the Malice in the Palace, but he was definitely the one that ended the Malice in the Palace. Shout out to Ron Artest.
He really did. That man really did.
Shout out to Ron Artest. There's a couple Malice in the Palace guys on this list, though. Rip Ron Artest.
Um, Yeah, Ron was he was good, man. He made it easier for Kobe to play defense because he played defense. And like people don't take it in. Kobe, they put a lot of defenders around Kobe. Like Roger
Yes.
Bell was one, Ariza, Barnes, like they put defenders around Kobe. So Kobe didn't always have to, he did guard some of the best players, but he didn't have to do 24/7 because he had other
Yeah,
guys.
there was a
It
lot of
allowed
switching. Yeah,
Kobe
yeah.
it allowed Kobe to be an offensive player, right? So I think
Bynum was a defender. He was big in the paint. Gasol, like,
right, right,
you know
right,
what I mean?
right. I'll give him that. My number seven is Baron Davis.
Okay. It's kind of low from my opinion, but okay.
Um, I but I like Baron Davis, you know. I think with him, we're like when it comes to he was the only, let me just double check. There's one more guy, maybe two other guys, but he was like a real number one. Like he was the balls in your hands, win us the game guy, right? Like, and he was the number one option, I should say. Baron Davis
Yes.
was out of
Yeah.
everyone in the list. So that's why I can see why you put him higher. Number one to me is crazy when Manu Ginobili's there, but I can see it, right? If you're building a team, especially if you think about it in this day and age, Baron Davis is going probably one or two in this day and age, right? So I get the Baron Davis love for sure. Who's your number seven?
My number seven pick, I already said Ron Artest, so it's right now down to
Who's your number six?
Ron Artest,
So who's your seven?
Court McGetty.
I love Corey McGinty though. I love him.
And you mentioned him last podcast about ideal small forward. I'm like, yep, yep, yep. He played on that Clipper team with D Miles, right? So you already know.
Yeah, I'm telling you, him and Steven Jackson, man. When I think of
Oh
those
yes,
guys,
yep, yep.
I love those guys. Where do you have Sean Marion? Like I don't know why you haven't said his name yet.
Well, he's on the list. Believe it, on the list. Don't worry, he's on the
um,
list.
that was your number seven, right?
Yeah.
Number eight for me is AK-47
Good. Oh, I like that pick. I like that pick. He was
because
balling
oh
in Utah.
yo,
I remember when he came out, he was just blocking shots,
he
shooting threes, all that.
you can never tell this man that he was one of those soft Europeans. Okay,
I mean,
he was
he's not European. The man's Russian. I think he's Russian.
like he's a different type of European.
He's different. He's
He's the
Russian.
one because when you're trying to call Dirk all soft and all those men soft, you weren't talking AK-47. He was a great defender. He can yam you in your head if he wanted to. He was a guy like especially his Utah, and Utah's my favorite team. He's an all-star once. He was a defensive team first team, two-time second team. He was a blocks leader.
Yes, that's what people don't understand. He was a blocks leader.
That's my guy. Played for
At
Utah and did
6'9",
my thing.
you were a blocks leader at 6'9" in this NBA, not now, that NBA. There was not small ball. And
Right,
you're a block leader.
exactly,
You're legit
exactly,
three. You were a three. You were a small forward for
exactly.
blocks, maybe a
That's my
four.
guy. That's my guy. Okay, that was my eight. Who's your eight?
My eighth is the Matrix.
Finally, you hurt my feelings. Having writing his name
Holy.
down.
The Matrix, man. Shout out to the Matrix, man.
That's
Defender, utility guy, weird ass shot, but he could be on any NBA team and be a starter.
yeah,
That's the
no, for
Matrix.
sure, for sure. All these, like we said, all these guys are guys you're playing in the playoffs. Like they're all like 6 man, like they're all like your top 7 rotation, like all these mans.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like you're not cheesed at them. Um, so that gets to my number 9. My number 9 was Elton Brand.
Okay, okay.
And
Because
the
I'm
reason
one.
why I picked him is because at first I didn't he wasn't gonna be on my list, but
Yeah,
I picked him because at his when he was good, he was good.
he definitely was good when he was good.
Right. So then I have to think about, I don't want to disrespect. Like when he was good, he was good. And I'll leave it at that. When he was good, he was good. So shouts out to Elton Brand.
Okay, so I already said AK-47. No, that's my next pick.
Yeah, AK is your next pick.
Marion was, yeah, now ninth is 47, AK. Shout out to Kirilenko.
He was that guy, man. He was
He
really
was
that
he
guy.
was that guy.
He was that
And
guy.
I don't know, my last pick I was torn, but you go. My last pick I was torn.
I was super torn, but I ended up picking Corey Maggette because I remember, he I just loved him as a wing. Like he was a good wing, and I like me some good wings who can get buckets, like underrated wings. Like kind of reminds me. This is why I'm probably one of the few people who really like Chris Middleton. I really like Chris Middleton.
He's good, but he's good. He's good.
Right? I like a guy who can get you buckets, play the wing, be your second or third guy, can hit a final shot if you needed him to. I kind of like guys like that. And I think Corey Maggette, he's a nice like third option on the team.
Very
And
nice.
he's like one of those guys I think you would want on a squad
And I
if you have like a special player, right? So who's your 10?
was torn between two players, but I'm gonna go Elton Brand.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go.
he averaged like 16 and 9,
Yeah, and he played close to 1,100 games, so he had a long career.
right? Like a two-time All-Star, 4 years apart, funny enough. Second team on NBA in '06, co-rookie of the year. He was sportsmanship of the year, which means that he was good.
He was rookie of the
Um,
year that year, actually.
he was clearly a solid player. Solid player. You know what? I would say I'm very happy about something. There's a guy you didn't pick because I can see the torn is because there's a few guys like I mentioned before. Raja Bell. There was Wally Zerbiak.
Yes, that was the guy I was torn. Wally and Elton. Yeah, yeah.
There's Andre Miller. Who's a really
Yes.
good point guard as well. But there's a guy I'm so glad you didn't pick because he's your type of player. And he frustrates. He's I hate players like this, and you have always through history of me knowing you like players like this. That's why I'm not even surprised
This
why
is
you're
the
picking him.
franchise.
Franchise. Thank goodness you didn't pick that guy. Holy,
I was
oh,
gonna put him on the list, but I'm like, nah, his career is like, come on, man.
thank you, thank you, thank you. When we're thinking about guys whose careers we would want, why would you want that career?
You don't want his like you don't want Frank's career. I'd rather have Marbury's career than Frank's career.
Right, exactly. Because at least he went
And
to
I'd rather
China and did
Marbury's
something.
basketball career in
Right,
general, even China.
exactly. I agree. I agree.
Because Francis is just when he came into the league, it was like this: Grizzlies,
Oh, fuck you, Grizzlies. Fuck you.
trade me, like, and I'm like, yo, you're just you're third pick. You're like the third overall pick, going like, you're a lottery pick. You
Like,
could
why are you
get
acting that way? Like, why are you acting that way?
guaranteed bread. And this is a time when it was like, yo, you get 2 million. It's like you got some real money. This is '99.
Come on, man. And the way you're moving, okay, then you go to Houston, you think you're that guy. Okay, then.
And then why do you think they had to get the high number one pick in Yao Ming in '02? Because you weren't that guy.
And then you didn't really want a Yao Ming. You didn't even want him on
Just
the squad.
crazy.
Come on, man. No,
Just
no.
crazy.
I'm not a fan of guys who think they're like there's no humbleness to them. So I'm glad you didn't pick. He wasn't even no, no.
Who had more better seasons, Francis or Arenas? On a side note,
Let me see, because Arenas had a good like 4 year stretch.
Maybe then it's B Arenas. I want to say France had like a 3-2-3.
Yeah, he's a three-time All-Star from '02 to '04. And then he averaged 18, 6, and 6, which is once again, these are not bad stats. But it was like I said, it was like a he as a rookie averaged 18, then he averaged 19, then 21, 21, then 16, 21, 16. Then he dropped down after 16 because he dropped to 10, which was he went from like Orlando because he at
Yeah.
one point, people just they won't believe in you, man. They just won't.
Yep.
They won't believe in you. When they especially people think you have like an attitude and stuff, and you're not really here to help.
That was him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're not gonna I'm trying to see the sparring shooting guard, prior to training fully offered both. Yeah, no, he's just not that guy. But yeah, but that was our list. That was our list. Make sure you guys comment and put your own list as well of the 2019 draft. Both drafts had its own thing. 2000 draft was not a special draft. It was not
At
a
all.
I don't know. 1999 draft had a lot of guys who you remember and and guys that like played roles like we said we didn't mention a Wally Zerbiak, but Wally Zerbiak was like the third guy on KG's team at one point, like almost the second guy.
At one, he was the second at one point. Yeah, I remember they called Wally's World.
Right. Like he was a guy, right? So and like when I think about totality of careers, we don't mention it, but the Pablo Prigioni's totality of a career, the amount of winning he did throughout his life is more than these guys did in the NBA,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So just in that sense, he joined the NBA when he was like much older,
The one
much
these 12
older,
years took him 12 years to come to the league.
right? And that was like his choice. He could have imagine this man came earlier, it could have helped some teams, blah blah blah. Like the Spurs would have probably tried to catch him up somehow because how the Spurs were at that time, very Euro heavy.
I know, but the
Um,
first to do it still. Yeah.
Very much so. But yeah, that was our list. Anything else you want to chat about?
No, man, that was covered everything we need to cover.
So now we'll do probably how we're gonna do it because these drafts aren't the most exciting. We're gonna do '01 and '02 as a draft, but we're gonna do '03 in like 2 weeks. That '03 draft will be its own draft because
Please.
'03 is
I
'03.
got a lot to say about the number 2 pick in '03, so you already know.
Like '03 is '03. I gotta say about number one pick in '03. That's my guy.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
my put the crown on him. Put the crown on him. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We will talk to you guys again. Thank you for enjoying the redraft. Peace.